Welcome and thank you for joining San Diego Real Estate Talk with Rosita. I'm Rosita Perez, your host, realtor, and self-discovery coach. The purpose of this podcast is to provide real estate updates, mortgage info, and tips from service providers to maintain or upgrade your home sweet home. Our topic today is for homeowners, home maintenance tips for spring and summer seasons. My guest today is Jerry Covarubbias. Roll the R's. Jerry is the owner of Cova Home Inspections and offers professional home inspection service for buyers as well as pre-home inspections for sellers. His company motto is, "We inspect every property as if our own family were making this purchase." So let me get Jerry on board. 1 second here.
Good morning, Rosita.
Good morning, Jerry. How are you doing today?
I am doing fantastic. Thank you.
And actually, you were telling me earlier, you're also getting some upgrades done to your house.
Correct. I am. We're actually doing some of the spring maintenance things that we need to take care of, kind of stay ahead of the things before they become a problem, which is a big thing that I always try and tell people, catch it early before it becomes very expensive to fix.
Absolutely. Well, Jerry, thanks so much for being here. And I'm glad you joined us to share your experience and tips for homeowners, because a lot of homeowners don't know what they don't know. They buy the home, but it doesn't necessarily come with the manual. So having your expertise and giving practical tips is super helpful for the homeowners.
Yes, there's a lot of little things to learn along the way. One thing that we have nowadays is YouTube. You can always Google something, look it up on YouTube, make simple repairs, save yourself hundreds of dollars in the process. You know, and certain things to look for as I'm walking a property, especially I think I was yesterday or the day before yesterday, I was actually walking my own home. We had a lot of rain this year, and rain water always causes a lot of damage. Now that the sun is getting a little bit warmer is the perfect time to step outside and look for those areas of concern, I would say.
That's awesome. That's the segue into the first question I was going to ask you. Since we're still in the spring season, I think spring ends May 31st. Can you share a couple of common issues homeowners should be on the lookout for, like you were walking your property? What should they be looking for in the spring months?
Water damage, number one, especially with the rain that we've had. Check your rain gutters. Make sure their water's being diverted away from the property. You always want that water not to puddle anywhere near the foundation, because you can start undermining the foundation, moisture, things of that nature. You know, mold is always a big concern of ours. Broken windows, broken screens, another one. Fogged windows is another one that now is the time to catch. Windows can be costly in repairs. Leaks, sprinkler systems. Run your sprinkler systems. Make sure they're in working order, not leaking. Your sprinkler heads are not shooting straight at the house and causing stucco damage. That happens. That happens quite a bit. The heads are broken. They're shooting water 10 feet into the air. As I walk in the property, I'm checking for stucco cracks, big cracks, 1/4 inch or bigger, which would indicate some kind of movement, not just settling, a bigger type of movement issue. Doors, all the exterior doors, check for wood damage along the bottom of the doors from the rain, just not being painted over the years, neglect. The front door, check the seals around the front door. You should be able to close the door and not see light coming inside. You want to make sure those seals are up to where they need to be and not causing air to come in, and you're cooling the outside or heating the outside instead of the inside of the house. Good time of the year to check the drainage, the landscape drainage. Make sure those covers are clear and free. Sometimes you have a big catch basin. You can pop the cover and make sure it's not full of mud and debris. I had a friend of mine, actually, his drains got clogged when we had that heavy rain, and all the water pushed along the patio, caught a retaining wall, and created a little bit of a landslide. Luckily, it didn't reach the neighbor's house. Kind of one of those things that he's been traveling quite a bit, so he didn't keep up with that maintenance of that area of his home.
that was a great list of things to check out. Some of those sounds like that you can do yourself, going on the YouTube and checking, like the ceilings. Is that something you could pretty much do yourself?
Yes. Inside, look for little brown spots, little types of, usually they're like a light brown, indicating that the roof might be leaking a little bit up on the top of the ceilings. It's always a good time of the year to get a roof inspection. It can be a roofing company, it could be a home inspector, and usually they're free. If not, they're under $100. They'll come and inspect it, let you know the age of the roof, let you know of any areas of concern that might need to be tackled this year, give you an indication, maybe 5 more years, maybe 2 more years, you're going to need a new roof. It's the best time to start budgeting for that, because that can get expensive.
So in those kind of DIY projects, at what point do you think that the homeowner should go ahead and just hire somebody, or which task, I guess I should say?
That's kind of hard because everybody's a little bit different. Some people are a little more comfortable than others. I like to tell them if they can clean the rain gutters, clean them out, clean the leaves out of the rain gutters, make sure that it's not built up with dirt and full of debris. Ladders, always be careful on a ladder. Safety first. Most accidents on a ladder happen at the house. Broken hips, broken legs, broken arms, shoulders. That's nothing to mess around with. If you're comfortable, I would say go ahead and do it. If it's something that you think that you cannot handle, it's better off to hire somebody to take care of that task for you, I would say.
Yeah, I would say bigger projects like plumbing issues. I think you can tackle certain plumbing issues, but if it becomes a bigger issue, sometimes you can make it a worse problem if you do it yourself.
Yes. And like I said, YouTube is a great thing as long as you follow the guidance that somebody's giving you and think about it. The box stores, Home Depot, Lowe's, Dixie Line, they'll always offer advice on getting a faucet replaced, changing out a leaky valve under the faucet. Those are some things. A hose bib that's been leaking for a while. It's near the house and it's just wicking up that moisture onto the stucco and causing some stucco damage. Those are fairly simple projects. The other one I have a caulking gun. Any wood trim where there's separation around the doors, around the eaves, if you can reach them. It's not a 2-story house. Windows, wood trim around the windows. Anything that has a gap in it, that's where the termites like to get inside once they start flying around. Keeps the wood new, keeps the moisture out of the wood. Very simple to do. Painting, some people just, I don't want to mess with it, let me just hire somebody, which is totally fine. But again, walking the property, looking for those problems, creating a list is important so you can categorize those repairs sooner than later. Maybe you can wait a year. Maybe it needs to be done right away. Catching it early is always key to saving money. Protecting your investment, I was saying.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is that do it right away. If you see something that have some maintenance done, do it right away. Because you mentioned earlier, walking the property and if there's some wood that needs to be replaced, that's important to do.
It is. If you catch it and maybe it's just a little bit of damage on the bottom and you can fix it without replacing it, a little bit of Bondo, a little bit of caulking, new paint on it, and will last another 5-10 years. You've saved yourself some money than replacing the whole trim around a window or trim around a door before it's costing you $5,000-$6,000 down the road.
Now, would you say that termites are pretty notorious in San Diego in terms of homeowners needing to do some termite work? Yes.
And the bad part is your neighbor can have the termites, and once it comes time for them to leave the nest and fly look for a new home, and it's usually September, October, November, you could be the neighbor next door that has just a little bit of maintenance issues that didn't take care of last year, and they find their new home, and there they go. They'll start creating a new avenue, chewing and creating damage. If you keep everything, nice and tight, sealed, painted, it makes it a lot harder for them to get in there.
How often should you repaint?
Well, once you start seeing damage Wood is usually what the stuccos usually last a lot longer than anything the wood. Wood, you start to see the deterioration, the paint peeling, the cracks, the separation. Those should be sealed every year if it needs to be. If it's not, the paint could last 5 years, 10 years down the road. Always depends on quality. Paint has come, a long way over the last few years, I would say. But yeah, quality of paint makes a difference. You might spend a little bit extra now, but in the long run, it's going to save you quite a bit of money.
Okay. And what about the AC system? Is that something more in the summer months to address, or should we do it now in the spring?
HVAC systems, you always want to change your filter twice a year, at least. And you always want to run that before you need it. You don't want to wait till the hottest day of the year and try and turn the system on and it doesn't work, because you'll be miserable. Same with it being cold. I know we don't have much cold weather here, but we don't want to wait till the coldest day of the year to turn it on, and it's been sitting all year and the filter's dirty and it starts to stink for the first 30-40 minutes before it gets running. You can always do a maintenance check on it once a year, twice a year. Most of the HVAC companies will come out for, I think it's under $100, and run a systems check on it, check everything, make sure everything's functional, make sure the discharge line is discharging properly, the water outside, change your filter for you, check your thermostats. It's another little maintenance issue. You check before it's a problem, and just kind of keep a scheduled time to check it every year or every couple years. It just depends on usage.
Okay, so Jerry, for spring, what are the top 3 that homeowners should be keeping an eye on or looking at in the spring season? Top 3.
Top 3, water damage on the outside, your rain, which includes your rain gutters, checking to make sure everything is draining away from the property, will cause severe damage. If you can see your roof lower on the street level, on the bottom level, if you can see your roof, I would say get a glance at it, even if you're using binoculars, and see if you can see any wear. Then that's, if you don't know the age of your roof, if you know pretty much the age of your roof and you're confident it's a 5-year-old roof, 2-year-old roof, you still have some time. But it's always good to take and get a good look and see what you can see of the roof, because that's, keeping out the water. Next, I would say just the surroundings of the property. Make sure we've had a lot of wall failures this year with all the amount of moisture we've had. Drains, your landscape drains. Make sure if you're on a hill, make sure the land's not starting to crack. It's not going to slide. Keep those landscape drains clear. Keep the vegetation clear. Kind of a little bit of air gap between the house and the vegetation, just so it breathes around the house, keeps the moisture dry. Fire season's coming up pretty quickly. I know a lot of the insurance companies are really starting to crack down on the overgrowth. Now is the time to catch it, pull the weeds, get some pre-emergence out there to stop the weeds from coming back. Now is the time to take care of that. And one of my favorites, the spider brush, to clean the eaves, clean the spider webs, clean any bugs that are running around the eaves, the doorways. That's one of my favorites. It's worn out, you can see. But I love that tool. It cleans all the spider webs. We have a bad year of spiders last year, and that's a simple DIY type of thing you can do on the weekends.
And is that something you can get from Home Depot? What's it called again?
That's a spider brush or a cobweb brush. I got mine on Amazon, but they do have them at Home Depot, Lowe's, and the other big box stores.
So one question, let's say that you talked about checking your roof. Do most roof companies that give a warranty, can they just call and ask for an inspection?
Yes, most of them will. A lot of them will come out. I don't want to say all of them, but most of them will come out for free and check it for you. Some of them, it's usually under $100 to have them check it. Just depends on the roof. Tile roofs, the biggest issue with tile roofs is the underlayment going bad on them. Asphalt shingles, we don't have much hail here. That would be what would cause a lot of damage. Hot weather in the attic will cause damage to the asphalt shingles as well. Another thing I wanted to mention is we do inspections to create a list for the repairs that you'll need over the course of the rest of the year. A little more pricier than the $100, but if you're not comfortable creating your own list, we could always come out, do the inspection, walk the property, walk the inside, walk the outside, check all the systems, and then we'll be able to create a list of repairs depending on severity. A repair now or a couple years from now, or budget for this, budget for that water heater.
I love that. I was going to ask you about that. If you do so, because, I know you do the home inspections for buyers in a purchase, and I know you do pre-inspections for sellers, but I was going to ask if you had something just for a maintenance.
Home maintenance inspection.
Really, really good information to know, because a lot of times we don't know what we don't know, like I was saying earlier. And you may not know that there's a slow leak here, which could end up in bigger problems. Not just changing the faucet, but it could end up in the M word, the mold issue, because that could be expensive.
It balloons really quick, quick.
So let's move on to the summer, because June 30th is when summer begins. So now homeowners have done spring. Now they're moving into the summer. So what red flags in the summertime should the homeowners be looking out for?
Summertime, again, vegetation around the house is always kind of a hot topic lately with the fire season rolling around quickly. Great time to change your HVAC filters. You're going to get that AC running nice and cold for you when it's 100 degrees out. Always a good time to check your water heater. Check the straps, check for leaks up top. When they go bad and they let go, it's just a rush of water out of the top or the bottom, and it's not in a convenient time. Mine happened in the middle of the night. But that's always a good time to check your water heater. It's a great time to schedule walking the property again, checking for those things. But water heater's key. Flush your water heater. Get the sediments. They usually have a little spigot on the bottom. You can connect a hose, and you just turn off the water and then let all the water drain out of it. And that'll flush that water heater. Keep the minerals and the deposits off of the bottom, which cause corrosion and stuff like that. Your tankless water heaters, those everybody thinks, they're great. They save plenty of energy. They do, but they need maintenance. They'll have internal parts that a little bit of debris inside can just make that thing go south really quickly. And then, they're expensive to replace. But the maintenance of, they come out and they flush it and they check certain things and keep it up to par.
Now, do they, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe SDG&E can come out and do a maintenance check on your water heater, correct?
Yes. They will. Well, they check mainly the gas, that it's not leaking, that you don't have gas leak. You don't have carbon monoxide building up that's venting out properly. But they might not check. They might not tell you check your age, your seismic straps. There are certain things that they probably won't check, but they will come out, check your furnace. They will check your furnace, check your gas appliances for you. They'll relight your appliances if you ever have to shut them off. They will take care of that for you.
Okay, so the other thing is, what about the carbon monoxide?
People like to forget about them. They like to remove them. We haven't heard about it in a couple of years, but they do save lives, and I've heard of people losing their lives over a smoke detector not being in place. They take out the batteries because they start to chirp. The new smoke detectors have a 10-year battery life. You put a new smoke detector in, you write the date. It's important, write the date of when you installed it and when it's going to expire. That way an inspector can see that date, or you yourself can see when it needs to be replaced. Very important. There's a button you can press on it. It'll let you know that it's working properly. Same with the CO detector, carbon monoxide detector. Little button you can press on it and test it, make sure it's in working order. Yeah, I can't stress enough. A great thing to have. You never know. It can save your life.
Yeah, that is important. And I know it's one of the requirements when purchasing a home that those are functioning.
Yes.
So anything with the plumbing systems?
Other than, water heaters, it's important to make sure you're checking for leaks. Leaks can be a small, tiny leak. You can see a little bit of corrosion. That's always important. It's always a great time to check under your sinks, look for leaks, kitchen sink, bathroom sinks. You can turn the little knob and make sure they're functioning in case the hose should rupture. Every once in a while, you hear somebody, the hose ruptured, but the valve didn't work and they couldn't shut off the water. So by the time they figured out how to turn the water off, it already had come 40 gallons of water down the stairs. So it's a good time to test those valves. We don't usually test them only because they could break on us if we test them, we turn them. But you can always turn them, and when they're old, they just won't turn anymore and they need to be replaced. The newer ones are quarter turn, so they're a lot better and will function a lot longer. But check for leaks. Leaks are always important. Sinks, faucets, showers, kitchen sink, run the dishwasher, look under the sink, see if it's leaking, spitting out water. It shouldn't be spitting water out of the top of the, by the faucet. The air gap shouldn't be spitting water out of it. That means there's a clog in that air gap. It should be running, functioning perfectly. Now's the time to take care of those. Are small maintenance problems. Later, if you're not paying attention and that pushing water out of that top air gap, it could get all over the floors. I've seen that happen. Get the wood floors in the kitchen. It could ruin your wood floors.
If it becomes a bigger problem.
Becomes a bigger problem, yeah.
Or you can just call Jerry and ask for the home maintenance inspection. That way you'll know which things that you can do versus trying it out and finding out, no, you can't do them. And now you have to call an inspector to do that specific task. So call Jerry and ask him for the home maintenance inspection. And he's very knowledgeable. I've worked with him for several years. He's always on top of it. He is very honest. He really cares about his clients and will tell you a lot of things that most home inspectors may not. He's very knowledgeable, very helpful, and he truly cares for what he's doing. So, Jerry, is there anything else you want to share with homeowners that need to maintain their home for spring and summer?
It was funny because I was just thinking, I was on an inspection the other day and I was talking with a homeowner, and the home was immaculate. I mean, it had just minor cosmetic issues. And we were talking, and remember on prior inspections that the people that have homes like this are the ones that do the small maintenance. They're always looking, they're always checking, they're always taking care of little things here and there. There was this guy that pulled out this list of repairs, receipts, timeline of when he repaired things. And I was amazed. I was just amazed. And the house was almost near perfect. I mean, there's no such thing as a perfect home. There's always going to be some little issues here and there, but that was very impressive. Very impressive. You just have to be vigilant and keep on it. I mean, it's so hard to do. Sometimes you get busy kids and tired from work. I like to do it in the morning over a cup of coffee. It's probably the best time for me.
But that's a great point, Jerry, because when you do take care of your home, I know that we had a house that you inspected that was like, wow, there's hardly nothing wrong with this house. And it was, I think it was built in 1970s, if I can remember. The house in Escondido.
Oh, yes.
With the pool in the backyard and the spa, everything. I mean, they truly maintained that house. So the fact that they maintained it, what happens is they can sell it for a higher price point because it is maintained. It's not like you have to go in there and fix, get termite, do this, do that. Maintain your home. And when you do decide to sell it, then you could sell it for a higher price point because you've taken care of it and you've really made it a home sweet home for you and your family.
It's definitely an investment. That is for sure.
Yes. Jerry, we come to the end of our time. I want to thank you again for sharing your expertise on this topic. How can people reach out to you?
Text, email, 619-895-0582. Phone calls. I'm consistent of reaching back to you if I miss your phone call. I usually answer 80-90% of the time. I respond to everything.
Yes, he does. I can attest to that. All righty. So I want to ask you to please subscribe, share, and stay tuned for more podcasts of San Diego Real Estate Talk with Rosita. If you'd like to listen to this podcast again, go to my YouTube channel, hit youtube.com/@movingforward life coach realtor. When you have questions about real estate, please reach out at 619-665-9086. Go to my website at Rosita Sells Homes Today. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and stay tuned for the next episodes coming up. I'm going to have Jerry on an episode where he's going to be talking to buyers on what to look for. So thank you so much again, Jerry.
Thank you.
Thank you all for listening to San Diego Real Estate Talk with Rosita, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.